Welcome back to Mike Hunt's YouTube channel. I wanted to jump in real quick before I roll the video that was taken back in March 11th, before Rocky Mountain National Park was closed down. So I've learned a lot since then. It may seem like I am clueless during the video, which I am to a certain degree. I have increased my knowledge a lot since then. I've been doing a lot of different tests, capacity tests, using this electric heater here where I draw about 600 watts. Now you can see this is the Jackery that you've seen in the other one. Apparently there's a recall on this one, so I've got to send this one back in order to get their new one. This here is the new Ecoflow product. This one happens to be the Ecoflow 600 Max. This has a lot of problems with it too. The first round of videos came out and they weren't good. So I'm holding off on my review on my main channel of this until they do a software update and fix a lot of the problems. With this expansion pack, it's like 578 watt hours. That's the advertised. You never get that out of there. This one here is supposed to have 1295 watt hours of battery capacity. Yeah, watt hours, 1295 watt hours. And this was one of their first ones released for their Kickstarter campaign for people to make videos of. The most I can get out of this is about 800 watt hours. That's running this heater, drawing 600 watts. When I try to draw a low wattage, like a 100 watt light bulb, this will only have a 462 watt hour capacity. It's very strange. They say that this consumes a lot of energy. So the longer you use it, the more it self-consumes energy. I don't know how it uses half of its battery life in a matter of 6 to 8 hours, but this one does. So they are sending me a new one, and hopefully it is twice as good as this. What was the camper drawing on this meter here? What were the watts out? Well, the watts out were only 100 watts. That's it. So this thing here should run for 12 hours drawing 100 watts. And that 100 watts was only when the furnace kicked on. When the furnace didn't kick on, it was only drawing 25 watts. So the furnace kicked on for 7 minutes, twice an hour. This thing should not have been dead in the morning. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Good morning. It is March 11th, and we are in Rocky Mountain National Park at Moraine Park Campground. And surprisingly, I am the only camper, like RV style camper. Everybody else is in a tent. And it is super windy out. We've got gusts. If I had to guess, they're easily into the 20s, mid 20s. And we are very happy that we are not in a tent, like a little pup tent, like they're scattered around here. The sun is just about to come up. The Ecoflo Delta is 100% dead. The furnace sucked 1,300 watts out of it last night. Well, basically it charges the onboard battery, because I have a lead acid battery on the tongue of the camper. The Ecoflo Delta kind of trickle charges that, and the furnace runs off of the onboard battery. Not the ideal setup. I think what needs to happen is I may break down and get 1 or 2 Battle-Born batteries. I'm not sure, because we do a lot of this cold weather camping. We did skip a few months this year, but we will continue to do this throughout the summer. And you need your heat, because babies don't sleep with like blankets. They don't know how to keep the blankets on them, so you got to keep the inside temperature kind of warm. And they wiggle around if you try to put them in a sleeping bag. Just doesn't really work that well. I'm gonna get out, show you around. It's super windy, so I will probably do a little voiceover kind of explaining things. Do have the generator running. It is a Honda. It's on its eco mode, and what it's doing right now is just charging the onboard battery, not the Ecoflow Delta solar generator. I'm gonna hold off on charging that with the generator and see how well the solar panels do. We're in the trees here, but the sun's just about ready to come up over that horizon there. We're gonna go out for a drive today. If that thing can put in 150 to 200 watts per hour, we should be able to put those 1,300 watts back in, especially around noon if there is no clouds. If I'm parked in direct sunlight it should easily be putting 200 watts in. And we'll see. I'll make sure it's topped off before we go to bed tonight so that we have full power for all of our heat tonight. Can't even hear the generator from here because of the wind noise. We got tent campers there and a couple tent campers up on the mountain, or up on this hillside here. A couple more tent campers up there. Here's the Ecoflow. Try to turn it on and it says 0%. So hopefully we'll get some watts coming in here when the sun comes up. It's 10:48, and as you can see, we have 202 amps going in, and it's saying it's 16% charged, so it must have been charging for a little while, and we have 3 hours remaining until a full charge. So that's 10:48. Easily have good sun till 2, and weak sun all the way till 3, 4. So we should get this thing 100% charged by solar if we stay right here in 3 hours. It's kind of exciting to open up the tailgate and see it going 200 watts in. No tilt, and it's still early, 10:48. Let's go. It's out for a little walk with Polly. Talk to another camper in a teardrop just down there. It's already up to 50 degrees. It's like an early melt. A lot of the snow has melted. Here is the latest update. Even at 2 o'clock on flat surface without the panels tilted, the onboard charge controller is getting overloaded. It's got to be by the voltage because the amps, when it's wired in series, stay the same. So it should only be 5.5 amps going in and around 60 or more volts going in. And this is what happens. See how it keeps zeroing out once it gets to about 200 watts, 201 watts, and zero. It keeps zeroing out and zeroing out. What it did is if I cover up a little bit of one of the solar panels, it'll drop down and hold steady. And I'm wondering if that's better to block a little bit of one of the panels and charge at like 80 watts versus this thing here where it keeps going back and forth. As you can see, we've got clouds that have moved in. Still blue sky over there, and we are now at 86 watts in, and it's not dropping like it was. So in 2 hours we should be full. Because of the clouds and the angle of the sun, we're only bringing in 87, 86 watts, which this thing seems to handle much better than 300, even though it's rated at, God, I want to say 400 watts at 10 amps in. There we go. Starting to climb up. Must be getting a break in the clouds. Almost to 100. I think it's going to work. Starting to snow. You can see the mountain across the moraine park, that big meadow out there. Just barely see the other side of the mountains. All those mountains are completely covered now, socked in. No sun. Did put the awning out, have it kind of low and angled, because I'll be barbecuing here shortly. This little barbecue clips on the side. It's got a little hose that goes down, plugs right in. Kind of a nice setup. Got my table set up. I might move that table underneath the awning. Fire's just about out. That's kind of why we had it early, is because I could tell that we're going to have a snowstorm coming. We'll see how this snowstorm plays out, but I do have tire chains, snow chains, the spiky prong kind. So I don't think we'll have any issues getting out of here. There she is. All of this is that cow elk, burgers, and brats that I got opening day in Wyoming with my bow. She's down. Sunshine and snowflakes. Hey, the Ecoflo Delta is dead as a doornail, just like yesterday. Whew. 0%. It was 0% at 6:30 in the morning.